back again. The canner is boiling away. You can hear it maybe, and you can see the steam coming out of the top. It's been venting for 10 minutes, and it's time to put the weight on. So I'll just turn this down a wee bit. But you can actually hear the water boiling inside the canner. And there, it stops. I'm going to turn it back up a minute. Now in my canner, as it gets up to a certain pressure, this little button comes out. So that let me know that we're ready to go. And if it were to go back in, this button here, it would tell me that I don't have enough pressure, I've lost pressure for some reason, and that wouldn't be good. This red button here, if it pops up, that means there's way too much pressure, and you better run, because it's going to blow up. No, honestly, you should just turn off the heat and, yeah, vacate the kitchen, I would think. But that hasn't happened to me. My daughter's laughing at me. I'm backing away from the canner. So now we're going to just wait for a little bit. I'm going to chatter at you because it's a bit boring now. I'm hoping that this will come back up to a bit more pressure, and we can talk about regulating the weight. I don't know if she can get it, but there's water bubbling away at the top, and you can hear the boiling going a bit faster and faster inside the canner. And at some point, it's going to start rocking the weight and twirling it around a little bit. And you need to read the instructions for the canner that you have to know how you're supposed to adjust your weight. Some weights apparently do just rock. Mine spins around kind of violently, and I have to turn the heat down to a point where it's spinning around about 2 to 3 times a minute, and not just whirling constantly, because that would be too high pressure, and I'd lose too much water if I did that. And then my canner would run dry, and pressure would, I guess, drop, and just wouldn't be good, and I'd have to start all over again. If that were to happen, and I didn't, well, if that were to happen, I could just put the jars in the fridge, and they'd be actually partially processed, and they'd actually last quite a long time in the fridge, but you couldn't just put them on your shelf. So here we are, waiting and waiting. A watch pot never boils. So let's talk about my meatballs. So here we have a load of meatballs, and I discovered today, live and learn, that actually putting them under the grill to brown them is quite a nice way to do it, and I think it's using less fat, so it's a good way. So I'll do that. These will be for tonight's dinner, I think, because I'm not going to be doing another batch of canning tonight. My daughter's looking like she's enthusiastic about meatballs for dinner tonight, so that's good. I think we can go back to the canner. I'm observing some steam coming from the holes in the weight. And I'll talk some more until it starts spinning around. When you have finished processing your food for the amount of time that your instructions say to, and that can be from a book or it can be from the internet, as long as you get a reliable recipe, you basically just turn off the heat and you just let it be. You don't take off the weight, you don't open it, you don't do anything, you just wait for a long time. And after a long, long time, and refer to the instructions, then you can take off the weight, and then later on you can take off the lid. I usually wait till this button is down before I even attempt to take off the weight. Here we go. It's starting to spin.
Oh no.
Alright. Is everything okay? Alright. It's spinning and spinning. And I'm going to turn it down. And this has stopped spinning. And turn the heat down. And so what I want to do is just find the happy medium that makes it twirl. Whoops, I've turned it down too far now. That makes it twirl 2 to 3 times a minute. That doesn't keep it not twirling for too long, and yet doesn't make it twirl too much. So now, since I turned it down too far, I have to just bring it back up a minute. This is yet another warts and all production, so you get to see things as they really are. And here we go, coming back up again. To be honest, I usually process things for longer than the books and the instructions say, because I'm just a bit paranoid. So instead of 90 minutes, I'll probably be letting these go about 100 minutes. Obviously, if you have small children in the house, you really want to keep them out of the kitchen while you're doing this, in my opinion. I have to have this on the front burner because the large burner is towards the front, and I just wouldn't want small children around. But having said that, it's actually quite safe. Come on. Yeah. Try to turn it down just a wee bit. Alright. We're almost there, I think. A little bit more. All right. Okay, I'm counting. Alright, if I counted to 30 without it spinning, I'm going to just crank up the heat a little more. Let it make up its mind to start up. There we go.